Hello, guys. Thank you for tuning in to the Elevate with Erica podcast. I'm your host, Erica. My mission is to connect with you through our stories and in that process spread inspiration for you to go do amazing things with your life. I had crushed that this is the way to the perfect job, marriage, and kids checklist and was left unhappy, stressed, living paycheck to paycheck, and unfulfilled. I knew there had to be more to life than wishing away the week until Friday, and so I found that proof. And that's what I'm here to do for you and with you. Are you ready to create a life that gets you excited? Then elevate with Erica. Grab a bottle and get comfy, friends. It's time for some unfiltered advice. Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Elevate with Erica. If you haven't already done so, make sure you select that little subscribe button so you never miss another episode. And if you'll take the time to leave a rating and review so that the platform knows to get my podcast in front of more people, I would so appreciate you. This is going to be a short episode that I hope leads to big changes for you. I'm currently working on something that I think a lot of you will relate to. So, you know those days when you wake up and you're just like totally set on how that day will go. You have your to-do list, you're feeling ready to crush things, you got up without hitting snooze, you're feeling like you're on the right path. And you're just dead set on the fact that the day is going to go exactly as you have planned. You know those days, right? The problem is there is, in fact, a lot of things outside of your control that could happen. Even just the way in which people respond to you could totally throw off your mood, which could totally throw off course the plans you had for the day. You know, me and my husband can't get on the same page with our energy sometimes. Do you guys do this in your relationships? Like, either I'm in some super get shit done mode or he is. But why is it rarely ever both of us at the same time, right? Like sometimes he just won't freaking sit down and I just need a moment to do nothing and he's disturbing my nothingness. Or it's the other way around. I'm running around doing all the things because I've set these expectations for the day in my head and I didn't share them with anyone, by the way. And he's sitting on the couch drinking his third cup of coffee. Tell me we're not the only couple like this. And even if I did let him know my expectations for the day, he may not respond in a way that supports that. And then I'm left disappointed. Expectations leave us open to a lot of disappointment. And I am not saying you shouldn't have high expectations for your life, right? They can be a great thing when used in broader terms. But when you're setting expectations for how you want your day to go and you're basing whether you've had a good day on those things or whether you're succeeding or failing on those things, you're basing that on you having total control of outside circumstances and of the feelings and reactions and emotions of other people in our lives. And we know we can't control those things, right? Like I actually think that when we're thinking logically, we know that we cannot control those things. I know I can't. But yet, I still find myself going to bed and thinking, tomorrow, I'm getting A, B, and C done. And then I'm going to eat lunch. And then I'm going to do D, E, and F. And then I'm going to make dinner. And we are going to do G as a family. And my kids are going to go to bed at this time. And then me and my husband will watch H. And I'll be in bed by I. Again, guys, tell me I'm not crazy. Do you ever think about the next day like this? And then you know what happens? My husband is home during the day doing house projects because he works nights, and he's asking me for help 3 different times throughout the day while I'm supposed to be doing B, E, and F. And I'm getting distracted and frustrated and having to sit and refocus each time, and it's throwing off my whole schedule. It's throwing off the expectations I had for the day. It's already making me feel like a failure, and now I'm angry at him for it. And then I'm angry at myself for not being able to manage my time. And then I start beating myself up. And this can happen in an office environment too. I worked in HR, but also handled payroll. Don't even get me started on that arrangement. Okay. So when it's time for payroll to be done bi-weekly, that every other week was busy. And certain things had to be done on certain days in order for all deadlines to be met. And my expectations were high. And then HR would happen. Adults stopped liking each other. And the processes that one would need to go through in a government environment to resolve those issues was time consuming. Why could they not like each other on a non-payroll week? But those are things I can't control, right? But I would get so frustrated. The expectations I had set for payroll to be processed smoothly, timely, with my full attention would be out the window. I would start to feel like I couldn't and didn't want to handle my job. Enter the thoughts of failure. Enter the thoughts of not feeling like I was the best person for the job, all because something happened out of my control that threw out the expectations that I had set for that day. You ever have this fun day planned with your kids, right? Like you're going to go do some activity outside the home and it's just going to be glorious, right? Family beach day. You get there and the kids are fighting. Little Johnny has decided he no longer likes sand. The waves are too rough for little Susie. You forgot to pack the juice they wanted. Everyone is complaining. You got up early to make this day happen. You packed everything by yourself. You paid for parking. You toted all this shit out on the hot sand with kids. You're sweating. You're busting your ass, mama. And dads too. Like you are putting in that work that kids don't even notice. And here they are complaining and arguing. Our expectations are shot. You raise your voice one too many times because that's leading to frustration. Then raising your voice leads to feelings of disappointment in yourself. After all that work you put in, you go to bed that night wondering what you're doing wrong. And maybe even thinking that you're not a good mom. When we set expectations, we are relying on everything in and out of our control to function as we've decided in our head they should and would. That's a lot of pressure to take on, isn't it? I'm taking on the responsibility that my husband must be in a good, energetic mood that day for the expectations I have set for the day to go as I've decided that they would. I'm taking onto my shoulders that my kids will have the attitudes I have decided that they will have for that day. And humans are complex. Yes, even the little ones. I'm working to control my own approach to the day, and now I'm relying on other people to have control of theirs, as well as using that as a determining factor to whether I've had a good day or whether I'm a success or a failure. So how can we stop setting ourselves up for that kind of disappointment? How do we stop letting things out of our control be a factor in our happiness at the end of the day? I think we have to learn to set intentions, not expectations. And this is something I'm actively working on right now. It's taking a really conscious effort for me because I've been setting expectations for my day for far too long. I think as I entered in working full time, being a new mom, getting my master's at nights, keeping my first home nice inside and out, trying to maintain a social life, as I took on more and more responsibility and started juggling more things, my way of feeling in control of what was happening was to set those unrealistic expectations. I thought I was doing good and being productive in doing so, but really I opened myself up to a lot of disappointment, both in myself and in other people. Life would happen, and I literally just couldn't do all I determined I needed to do to be considered successful by my own standards. And other people wouldn't respond and react to things in ways in which I expected them to, which left me disappointed in them as well. When I left my full-time government job 2 years ago to build this business from home, I wrote this long letter because I gather my thoughts better on paper. So I wrote this long letter to my husband to break the news to him. And I've got tears streaming down my face and I'm scared to leave this job, but I know I need to because I'm not mentally in a good space. And he did not react in the way that I expected him to. And so what did that do? It left me disappointed in him. Why? Because I expected him to respond with the same emotions and thoughts that I would have if the situation was reversed. Now, is that fair to him? Absolutely not. His feelings and concerns and fears do not get to be invalidated because they are not mine, right? My approach was wrong in that situation. Looking back, I would have wrote that letter with the intention of releasing emotions, thoughts, feelings that I was having, and the plans in which I needed to take for myself, for my mental health, not with the expectation that those words were going to gain his support. Because I can't control that part. And whether or not I had his support was not even a factor in whether or not I was planning to proceed, because I knew what I had to do. I knew I had to proceed for myself. I wasn't in a good space. So setting that expectation not only set myself up for disappointment, but it was also for no good reason. His support wasn't even a factor. Would it have been nice? Of course. Did I need it? Absolutely not. So when you set yourself up with intentions instead of expectations, you're setting yourself up for a more joyful journey to get to whatever the destination is. Even if that destination is just to have a good day. If things outside your control also work in your favor, also work in favor of your intentions, then fantastic, right? Those are little bonuses, little extra pushes in the direction you want it to go in, but they are not a determining factor of your success or failure because you didn't set them up as an expectation to begin with because you can't control those things. Instead of setting up your day and setting the expectation that you will get A, B, C, D, F, G, H, and I think that was all the letters, right? I hope I just said that in order. Then that you will get all those things done at the time you said you would. Instead of doing that, can we instead shift those expectations to the intention of being productive on the tasks at hand, one task at a time when possible? Not worrying about what else you have to get done that day. One thing at a time. Your determining factor for success is not whether you get all the things done, but instead whether you got things done with intention, with focus, with joy, and then moved on to the next thing. You allowed yourself time in there to be human, to take a breath between tasks. You allowed yourself time for life to happen because it will. But you kept swimming because that was the intention you had for the day. That was the only intention you had for the day. Because that's what you can control. Maybe you didn't get to task D or plan D because you had a disagreement with someone, a coworker, or your spouse regarding task C. You won't lay your head on the pillow that night feeling disappointed in yourself because you followed through on your intention to remain productive and focus on each task at hand. It doesn't matter that you didn't cross everything off today or that plans didn't go as you had intended because you controlled what you could. And there's always tomorrow. It feels so much lighter instead of saying, I failed today. So-and-so disappointed me today because they didn't respond as I would have. My kids are ungrateful. Am I a bad mom? You instead say, my intentions were going in to today, doing what I could. There's always tomorrow. You're going to open yourself up to more joy and more opportunities to see and celebrate your wins, no matter how small. That's where we can get to a space of designing a life that brings us joy. That is what I'm working on right now, and I hope that helps you guys too. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up this episode. Let's raise our glasses for a cheers. It is Easter weekend, and I have got my in-laws arriving here in a few hours and still plenty to get done. I'm looking forward to some unplugged, present family time and setting my intention to do just that. Not expecting my children to behave perfectly while they are here. Not expecting Easter dinner to go perfectly planned. Just setting the intention to be present in whatever the moment may be and enjoying the extra time with family. Whatever else happens is not on my shoulders. It's not a burden that benefits me to carry. So I'm putting that down. Grab your breakfast wine, your coffee, juice, matcha, water, whatever it is. Cheers to setting ourselves free from the pressure of expectations. To knowing that we can't control the outcome or what happens on the way to our desired destination, but we can control who we want to be on the way there. To setting intentions that empower and support us, because we deserve the same love and compassion that we show everyone else. Until next episode, friends. E.